We got my old buddy Coach Morgan here in St. John's, and you're back on the road again.
We're on the road again.
But you know what? It doesn't affect you. You guys got the hang of this road deal.
We're starting to get real good hang of it. In fact, this is our 5th 200-mile trip in about 7 weeks. You know, we did have to travel to Santan last week. Last year, that same weekend, we traveled almost all the way to, well, it felt like it was in California. We went past Tonopah out there and played Paradise Honors, and we ended up playing on a field that looked like one of these dirt fields around here. They had to bring in portable lights that were only 10 feet tall. They were ran by propane that just smelled terrible. Kids were breathing that stuff in.
Yeah.
It was probably one of the worst experiences that a high school young man, young team could go through being in the playoffs.
Yeah, and you guys were for the higher ranking team. How did they justify that?
Well, what they do at this point in time in 2A, which I believe, and I'm not positive on this, that only the 2A protects their league winners. And the reason they do that, I'll never have any idea, because there's so many leagues in 2A.
Yeah.
2A is one of the largest conglomeration of schools.
Right.
And they differ from, you know, all the way down to 150 kids up to, I think, 600-700 is the way it is right now. It's insane that you could be a school of 150 kids and play another school that's maybe 3 to 4 times your enrollment. You don't see that in any other
you don't.
conference.
No.
But anyways, a lot of private schools, a lot of charter schools, a lot of situations like that. And year to year, those leagues, you never know who's going to be the champion. But when you're us and you play in the toughest league in the state, the 2A East, you got Morenci, you got Thatcher, you got Round Valley, you got Miami, you got San Carlos, and you got Pima. You know, and there's 3 or 4 just war teams down there, big, strong. You know, I'm not sure what the enrollment is at Round Valley or over at Thatcher, but they're huge. I know they're at least 2, if not 3 or 4 times larger than we are.
They got a large number of players on the field, a large number. I was down there, open up the season with Sholo at the preseason, and they have a lot of numbers standing out there on the field. Well, so that tells me they're not really a tour. It goes by population.
Well, I know that both of those schools, Round Valley and Thatcher, have been 3A, you know, in recent years, and they did well. Both productive 3A programs had the kids, got the coaching staff, got the program to play there and be, you know, a good team in that area. But they choose to be in the 2A, you know, for specific reasons. I don't know, but I was talking to our AD the other day. We're the 5th smallest public school in 2A right now. And when I come here, we were in the top 5 largest.
Yeah.
We've lost a lot of enrollment.
Lost a lot of students.
But hey, we're hanging on and we're fighting. We're running 2 programs, well, a football program with 2 teams, a JV and a varsity, with basically 35, 38 kids.
Total.
You know?
Total.
Yes,
yeah,
total. And that's, I'm talking 15, 16 freshmen this year. Last year we had 13, 14 freshmen. So you can see a third of that number, 35, 38, are freshmen. And well, tomorrow night we'll dress out 6, 7 freshmen. And you know what? They'll play.
They'll play.
They'll play.
You went down to the playoffs last year. I don't have a real good memory, but you went with a true freshman that had just come from the 8th grade into high school due to injuries and everything else. You had to go down there as a quarterback.
Exactly.
Varsity football quarterback in this country, there's a lot of stress on them.
Lot.
This country bleeds football, high school football. You go down south, it even gets worse. But that's the way it is anywhere. And you went down there with the freshman. I felt for you. I felt for you. But we talked about it.
We played.
Yeah, you guys played.
We competed, and we competed well. We went into that game with only a minute and 20-some seconds left, down 26-22, and we were fighting. They had 4th down, and they had a really good back that made a tremendous run to cap the game for them, 32-22.
But you guys were right there the whole game.
Well, the thing about that, people don't understand, that freshman had 2 varsity game experience starts going into that playoff game down there. And he played well. I mean, he played well in both those games, and he did well in the playoff game for a freshman. Yeah. And this year he's doing extremely well, and he's only a 15-year-old sophomore.
But he's getting better every year.
Better.
So if something tragic doesn't happen, you're going to have a good quarterback next year and the year after.
Yeah, he's the future, you know. And
you kind of roundballed the whole town here though when you said you have a bunch of scrappers, you know, and that's what they are. They're a bunch of scrappers. Your numbers are down. there's some great people that live in this town. Great families, lifelong families, Hamblins and stuff like they've lived here forever.
Yep.
And they're just like your team. They're scrappers. And every Friday night, this place is packed.
It is.
And a lot of them don't even have a relative on the field.
No, but it's the only thing in town. It's the big scene in town, Friday night football.
It is.
And, you know, right now, people don't understand how difficult this is because we have a soccer program up here with 40 kids in it, too. And, you know, we're pulling and tugging. We're stealing from Paul to pay Peter, et cetera, to keep this football program alive. You know, I'm down coaches. We got 5 total coaches in the football program. We'll go over there to Thatcher tomorrow night, and they'll have 15, 16 coaches.
Oh, yeah. They have a whole sideline.
You go to Round Valley, and they'll have 9 or 10.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
It's just hard to compete against. Numbers, coaching. But, hey, we're keeping our head above water. We're fighting tooth and nail. You know, these kids here, not only they're on the football team, but they're on the basketball team, the soccer team, the wrestling team, the baseball, the track team. They're also in the band. We have kids that actually come off the football field here Friday night and jump over there and put a suit on, and they're in the band.
Exactly right. You're exactly right.
You know, you don't see that from the larger schools that we're playing in the playoffs.
No, you don't. No. You know, I went down to Castile, I think, isn't that the name of that school down there that blew out Sholo?
Yeah.
And I'm up in the announcer's den, and there's a big screen TV on the track, and there's a horseshoe of chairs around it.
Right.
I thought, what's that for? It's a band or something. No, it's like the NFL. They come off the field, nobody plays both ways. The offense comes off with 2 offensive coaches. They sit in the chairs, turn the TV on, and go over the plays.
Well,
and I was like, I just exaggerated on it throughout the whole game because it blew my mind. I thought I was at an NFL game. You know, the things that they have to work with that nobody thinks about. But you know, I have a son. He just played his last game, and I've always tried to teach him. We started that youth football 8 years old. I always try to teach him. Yeah, it's good to win and stuff, but you're gonna find out it's about that much about the sport, and it's this much about life. And when you get coaches that teach you that, trust me, down the road somewhere, it's gonna mean the world to you. And that's what you're teaching these kids. Not to have your parents load you up and go to the town next door because they have open enrollment and everything else, private schools jumping up everywhere. You're teaching these kids something that is going to affect them in the most positive way imaginable the rest of their life. The rest of their lives.
You just hit the nail. That's our goal. And that's what we want to do. We want to be a positive influence on them so that hopefully they will not just learn from football and Friday night activities, but the total realm of being responsible, being prompt, being a team player, like you have to in a marriage, you know, or
that's it. That's
kids
it. Don't be a quitter. Don't be a quitter. Don't give up.
Yep. Get up and going to work every morning on time. And
life is going to get tough. It's going to look like everything's stacked on your shoulders.
Oh yeah.
You cannot give up. You just can't turn around and walk away.
No.
You're fixing to leave this school and start life, you know, and that's, I think it's a great thing. So to everybody out there watching, you guys are on the road tomorrow night. Going where?
We're going to Thatcher, Arizona. It's about a 15-mile trip. You have to go through the Salt River Canyon and go down to Globe, and then Globe, you hit Globe and you travel east about 70 miles.
And they have big kids. They have large numbers. You don't want to get me started because sometimes I offend people when they get rattling on about AIA and stuff. Sometimes I'm way too honest, and you can't be real honest when you're trying to talk to the public, you know. But I went down there with Sholo. They beat Snowflake too.
Yeah.
You guys went down there and held in the game this year you kept it close. You know, they did end up getting the victory over you.
Big.
Yeah, at the end it was big, but sometimes there's those games that look like they were a blowout if you just read the paper with the score, and they're really not like that.
Right.
You don't have any major injuries or anything, do you?
We do. We've lost a total. At one point we had 10 players that started or played a lot in the first game until the 9th game of the year, right before we played Round Valley. 10 players out. We've gotten 2 of those back. One had a concussion, and one had if I recall, a knee injury. Right. So we've gotten those 2 kids back. We have several others that aren't back. Several juniors and seniors. They're done for the year.
But they haven't been here for a while.
No,
so you've already filled their position.
Yeah, we have. Like I said, we're going to start some freshmen tomorrow night. We're going to start a slew of sophomores, like 7 of them. But you know what?
But you done that last weekend. You traveled on the road.
Yep.
Done with the same kids, with the freshmen and the sophomores.
Exactly.
With a bunch of good, scrapping, homegrown kids that have been coached by you. You got a heck of a coaching staff. You got a gentleman out there that works at SRP.
Yep.
Dedicates his time here for nothing. And how long has he been here?
He's been here 31 years. This is 31st year.
31st year.
Yeah, here.
Just to be around these kids and to help these kids.
Right.
That is something that should be talked about on sports channels and stuff like that, in the newspaper.
Yep.
Don't talk about all that other garbage. You need to find people like that, because that's what, it's untainted. This high school sports, I love it. I love Little League. And I love it. I love it. Here, I love it. I love being around the kids, and people have so much to offer kids, and kids have so much to offer me. I coached for a long time until I got sick, and I don't think I taught them anything. But they taught me a lot. I needed that. When I woke up from a coma, I needed to get back here to be around all them, because they helped me. All of them did. All of them did. And that's why I've stuck with them. That's, you know, and that's what you do. That's what you do. You know, we called the game up here on the announcer's stand just a few years ago, and you were supposedly gone. You had left. You weren't going to coach no more. And we're up there announcing. And I looked over there, and you're standing up on the deal, and I called the boss lady, Jean. I was like, "You're not going to believe who's here. Coach Morgan's up on top of the announcer's stand." Well, be quiet. Don't let him hear you. Are you sure? I was like, "Yeah, I'm sure." I was like, "What the?" Yeah. I mean, I just admire you. I'm rooting for St. John, and I know you guys can do it.
You bet. We're going to fight.
I know you guys. I know you guys.
We're going down with nothing in mind other than we're going there to be a winner and move on to the semifinals next week.
That's it.
You know, win, lose, or draw, we're going to give it all we have.
That's
like tooth and nail.
You have nothing to lose, man.
Nothing,
you guys have given blood, sweat, and tears all season.
Yeah, we look
injuries and everything else, low numbers, a bunch of young kids, and you've got the job done.
We're going David and Goliath.
That's it. And there's nothing wrong with that. It worked out in the Bible.
Exactly.
Yeah, if it works out in the good book, it can work out for you too.
Yes,
hey, we made this video just for you, so you can see good people like Coach Morgan here, that's been here forever, ain't going nowhere, and he's teaching these kids. Don't give up. You know, you can move. You can go to any school you want in this state. It's open enrollment. See it in the Valley all the time. They're loading them private schools up. Loading them. It's like a professional team.
Exactly.
That doesn't teach your kid nothing, but you know what? You can't learn what winning is like until you lose and deal with adversity and everything else. You can't truly feel, you know, what it's like to win. And that's what I believe. Coach Morgan, thanks. I appreciate it.